seeing the institute every day while going to the school also like ignited a spark in me to like come there as a student someday rather than a passerby.
As you mentioned that you had given IPMAT, right? So what went wrong over there?
I had cleared the entrance exam, but I was dejected.
So Param, coming from a non-engineering background, did you ever feel like you had to work a little more harder for CAT? What was your process?
I was bombarded with stress.
And then after that you gave CAT, right?
Yes.
So when did you attempt CAT?
I attempted CAT for the first time in 2023 and I scored 98.4 percentile that time.
But then there is a story that you were also working.
Yes.
Can you tell us more about it? Some people start their journey with privilege, others start by rejection. But those who don't stop, they rewrite their story. He couldn't get into IIM Indore after giving IPMAT. But he did not give up. Juggling with a full-time job, he started preparing for CAT and scored a 99.92 percentile. And guess what? He is at IIM Ahmedabad today, a dream college for lakhs of aspirants. This story needs to be heard by every CAT aspirant. Hello everyone, welcome to Time's CAT Prep Stories, where we talk beyond numbers about real life hustle. So today's guest is someone who turned no into not yet and made it all the way to IIM Ahmedabad. Param Agrawal, a Time Institute gem and an inspiration for all those non-engineering students and also those people who are working. So good to have you here, Param. First things first, how is life going at IIM Ahmedabad?
So the prep course has just started. It's a maths course for non-engineers, and so it has started, and it has been a week now. So it's going great, meeting new people, interacting with new people, and making friends. So a good journey so far.
Okay. What are the timings now of your course?
Right now, it's only a 1 hour 15-minute class at 10 a.m. in the morning, but it will the normal routine will start from next week onwards.
Okay, Param. So let's roll back a little bit about your school days. What was Param back then? So when you were in your 10th grade, what was the thought process that you wanted to do an MBA, right? So when that idea pop up?
So during my school days, I was a very diligent student, a very shy student, and I did not used to interact much, only focused on my studies. And I used to read a lot, and while reading, I used to read a lot about the inspiration, especially from a cricket perspective. Harsha Bhogle has been an inspiration for me. He's a great commentator in cricket. So I used to study what was his background, and I got to know that he has studied from IIM Ahmedabad. And then again, I read about Chetan Bhagat, Raghuram Rajan, all these stalwarts in the Indian industry in various fields, but they have all done one common thing, which is an MBA from IIM Ahmedabad. So seeing that and then seeing the institute every day while going to the school also like ignited a spark in me to like come there as a student someday rather than a passerby. So that was a great motivation, and I had the grades to back that up. I had a 96% in both 10th and 12th. So it was quite an inspiration for me.
Yeah, means a good profile for IIM Ahmedabad, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So, Param, coming from a non-engineering background, did you ever feel like you had to work a little more harder for CAT? What was your perspective?
So, as the saying goes, that the engineers have an upper hand in quantitative aptitude and in logical reasoning. As a non-engineer, we are not taught those subjects extensively during our undergrad or while preparing for exams like JEE. So we have a lesser grip over that. So as a student, it was very imperative for me to focus more on those subjects, because definitely there was a disadvantage as a non-engineer to crack those subjects and get a high percentile to get those calls from the top IIMs.
Okay. So, you had as you mentioned that you had given IPMAT, right? So, what went wrong over there?
So yeah, after 12th, I had prepared for IPMAT for the IPM Indore course at IIM Indore, and I had cleared the entrance exam, but during the interview, I was bombarded with stress interview questions, which I was not prepared at all. I was prepared about the basic HR questions to start with, and then following up on the subjects and all, but they started directly with the stress interview asking me about questions which I did not know at that time, and I got stressed and I was then not able to answer, and then I wasn't selected.
Okay. What were the questions that were asked?
So they directly started with what subjects I had in my 12th standard and from what city I am. And when I told that I am from Ahmedabad, they asked me what was the name of Ahmedabad before, like earlier. So it was Karnavati. And then they asked me how did Ahmedabad get the name Karnavati. And at that moment, I just, got blank and wasn't able to answer. And then the rest of the interview followed a similar story, and I was not comfortable during the interview.
So you must be feeling very bad at that time.
Yes, I was not hopeful of converting it, but still there was some hope that I might convert. And when I got the results, I was dejected for at least a week or so. I was like very sad, very, very sad. But then I said it's time to move on and do something else.
So what was your backup at that time?
I had gotten admission into Christ University in the BCom honors course. So I decided that I'll continue with that course and then prepare for MBA later.
Okay. So when you did your BCom from Christ University, what type of a student you were there? Were you active in taking parts in events, in like organizing events? What was your role as a whole?
So yes, I was a diligent student there also, but to overcome my shy nature, I joined a couple of clubs there. One was the entrepreneurship club during my first year, and then I again joined the theater club in my second year, where I was involved in street plays on very socially sensitive topics in front of a crowd on the like streets of the college. So that helped me not only gain confidence but like overcome my shy nature, and at the same time interact with people at the college and network with the people, so that I can gain perspective about what lies ahead and what to do in life. So that helped.
Okay. And then after that you gave CAT, right?
Yes.
So you were in Christ University.
Yes.
So when did you attempt CAT for the first time?
I attempted CAT for the first time in 2023, and I scored 98.4 percentile that time. But I was dejected with the result because I felt that I could have done better. And like even my friends and family told me that I could have done better. So I decided that I'll not join my converts at that time and instead reattempt CAT the next year.
Okay. So after graduating from Christ University, you attempted for CAT again.
Yes.
Okay. But then there is a story that you were also working. Okay.
Yes.
Can you tell us more about it?
Yes, so from college only, I got a campus placement in Deloitte, Bangalore. So I had to travel to Bangalore around September. So I had to prepare for 2 months along with my job, and I had joined Time Institute in July. So I was preparing alongside my studies, and as soon as I got to know that I have a slot one exam which is at 8:30 in the morning, and as someone who wakes up at 9, it was a very, very tough situation for me. And that was the day I decided that I'll wake up early in the morning at 6 a.m. and I started preparing from that point onwards.
But Param, as you were working, you had mentioned that your job timings were from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. So how did you balance CAT prep? Because you just had 4 to 5 months for when you were going to attempt for the second time. So how did you balance all that stuff?
So the biggest thing that helped me was the mentorship first of all, and secondly my discipline, which I had integrated in my schedule. I used to wake up at 6:30 in the morning and study for 2 to 3 hours diligently before going for my job. And whenever I used to get free time, be it weekends or during the job when there's little less work, I used to put in the extra mile and prepare for the CAT exam. And then again, after coming back from the job, post my dinner, I used to again study for a couple of hours before getting a good 7 to 8 hours sleep so that I'm fresh the next morning.
Okay. How many mocks did you give before CAT?
I had given around 25 to 30 mocks for the CAT prep.
Okay. Now let's talk about Time Ahmedabad. How much did that ecosystem help? Whereas we talk about the mentors, the
Yes.
faculties. How did you like tune up with them?
So, firstly, when I joined the offline batch at Time Ahmedabad, getting a hold of the syllabus and then again reigniting that spirit within me to study daily and build a discipline, that was done by the mentorship of Satish sir and the faculties at Time Ahmedabad. I got to, study the subjects again. So what happened was that I did not have the right mentorship in the previous year and the resources. And Satish sir, along with all the faculties, helped me provide those resources and help motivate me to pursue what my dream actually was, rather than getting off the track and not providing me the ample resources and all that. And like that was very helpful for me in my journey.
What was your thought process on CAT day?
On the day of CAT, which was 24th November, I decided that I'll just treat it as some other mock and not get, flustered by what was the like greatness or what was the impact of that day on my career. I just decided to treat it as some other day, some other mock which I give in the morning every week or every couple of weeks. And my center was also quite far from my place in Bangalore, and so I just went there, chilled out, did not take any stress, and gave it as any other day.
But you said that you were not somebody who used to wake up early. So when did you get up on CAT day?
I like as soon as I got my admit card and it showed slot one, I decided that day itself that I need to wake up early now. And so I started waking up early the very following day at 6:30 in the morning, and I built a routine around that, which is like very important for any entrance exam for that matter.
Okay. After giving your CAT on that day itself, how were you like analyzing the paper?
I felt that I had done a decently good job. I was not sure about the VARC section, but I was quite hopeful that I'll get a very good percentile. I was not sure I'll get such a high percentile, but yeah, that was a pleasant surprise for me.
Okay. When you had come to know that you have scored 99.9, what was the feeling?
I was actually overjoyed. I did not know, like, I did not understand the magnitude at that point. It just felt that something big had happened, and that now I need to prepare for the interviews, and like something great is there for me in the future. It took time for it to sink in and just know the magnitude of how big an achievement this is.
But still, there was a twist in a game. As you told me that when you are working, there was a time period where you had to work 12 hours a day. And we still remember that you had to prepare for your GDPI mocks. You were in Bangalore. You came down for Ahmedabad for some family function, right? So, how did you balance that thing? Because that was one of the most important phase you had to face. So,
So, since I was in the audit division, there's a seasonal work environment there, and the Jan to March period was around 11 to 12 hours a day minimum. They expected us to work that much. So, definitely, it got very, very tough. I had to log in at 9:30, 10 in the morning and work till almost midnight every single day, except on maybe Sundays. Even Saturdays were working quite a few times. So what I did was, again, as soon as I got any time in the morning or in the evening or at night, I used to just build a notebook where I used to write everything about me, my profile, what I do, what are my hobbies, interests, future goals. Everything was written in that, and I decided to like make it a handbook for me so that I can use it anytime to prepare for any other interview I have, be it any institute, any IIM, any private university. So I decided that that was the thing. And again, there were family functions in between. So whenever I used to get time, I used to come to Ahmedabad and give more mocks. I used to give mocks there also. Satish sir had helped me connect with the student at IIM Bangalore, and I was able to give a couple of mocks there also. So all this ecosystem which time had set up along with the discipline I had, it helped me prepare for the GDPI.
and how many GDPI mocks you appeared for?
I had given around 10 to 12 offline mocks and 5 to 6 online mocks.
Okay, that's a big number. And you also told me that before giving CAD, you started preparing for GDPI mocks, right?
Yes, so before I went to Bangalore for my job, I had given a couple of offline mocks in Ahmedabad itself because I had the belief in me that I can crack CAT, but I need to work more on my interview skills. So I decided that.
Uh, Satish sir told us one more thing about you, that you used to shift batches like multiple times. So, how time, like, did you think that it was very flexible joining time and choosing time as your cat prep coach?
Definitely, Satish sir gave me the liberty to choose any batch which I can go based on the topic that is being taught that day. So I was able to study a variety of topics based on my understanding and based on my schedule, and that genuinely helped me, prepare for the topics which I was not very good in, while skip those topics which I could have answered properly. So like that ecosystem definitely gave me a boost in my preparation while preparing for CAT.
Okay. Now, what were your calls after getting a 99.92?
I got all the major IIM calls: Bangalore, Lucknow, Ahmedabad, Calcutta, Kozhikode, Indore, Shillong, and the other calls also SPJN and all that.
Okay. Where was your first interview?
My first interview was for IIM Lucknow in Bangalore itself, and that was a decent experience. So, as to say, it was a very short interview, but it went quite well.
What were the questions that were asked?
The IIM Lucknow interview mainly revolved around the general current affairs, the 2008 financial crisis, and my studies in economics and finance.
Okay. And then when did you go for the interview of IIM Ahmedabad?
Yeah, so after Lucknow, I had a couple of interviews in Shillong and Kozhikode, and then I had the interview of IIM Ahmedabad on around 28th of February.
Okay. So, how did they treat you?
Like they again, it was a flashback for me when as soon as I went for the IIM Ahmedabad interview. Again, it was my first stress interview among the four interviews I had given so far, and it was a complete repeat of the IPM Indore interview which I had flunked 4 years ago, and like. But this time I was quite well prepared for that, and I maintained my composure and patience and answered those questions without flustering or getting nervous.
What were the questions asked at IIM Ahmedabad? Which question made you fumble?
The questions mainly revolved around my job, and I was doing an audit for a private equity client. So it revolved around finance and private equity, and again current affairs. But as soon as I told them about my hobbies, about chess, one question they asked, like it was a very curveball question. I couldn't answer. I do not know the answer even now. Was that how do you solve a chess game using simultaneous equations? I still do not know the answer, but like it was a very, very stressful point at the interview.
After coming out from that interview, what was your thought process? Ke ho jayega, nahi hoga? Because see, it's a bitter truth. Getting into IIM, the percentage ratio is quite low, and you were a non-engineer. You had a work ex, but not for a long period. So, what was your thought process at that time?
I felt that the interview was fairly decent. I was not exactly sure if I will convert it or not, but I was quite hopeful that I can be among the people who have converted it.
Okay. And then when you got your results, like what were the reaction?
Everyone, my friends, family, myself, everybody was quite happy, quite overjoyed. So, as to say, everyone was in the celebration mood. Everyone was asking me for parties, and they are like, "You have done it. You're set for life. Like, it's finally that you have done something so big that even you do not know, and you will get to know in the future." Especially the people from Ahmedabad, the older generation, my parents' generation, they've always seen IIM Ahmedabad and they've studied in Ahmedabad. But they never felt that someone they know will get admission there. But as a son of my father, like my father was quite overjoyed that finally someone from the family, someone so close, has achieved this milestone.
Followed by a reception, right?
Followed by reception, yes.
Yeah, it's like it was a very proud moment, and
Yes.
we were there,
Hmm.
right? So, Param, um, what do we say for students who are very introvert? Like you said that
Hmm.
जब आप 10th standard में थे, you were
हाँ.
quite introvert. You are good in studies, but we have seen a lot of students getting a good percentile, a perfect 99, but they couldn't get into IIM even after getting that PI call, just because of these reasons. So how can a particular student improve in this? so that he doesn't get rejected.
So the best thing to do for preparing for interviews is to give as many mocks as possible. You should like contact your mentor or teacher and whoever your person is and ask them for as many interviews, mock interviews as you can.
Because in the competition of CAT, there are people who are from IITs, there are people
Yes,
who are engineers.
yes.
So when you went for the interview of IIM Ahmedabad, was this thought coming in your mind that will I be left out? That was the main thing.
Definitely, there are people from top IITs. There are people with 2 to 3 years of work experience, and they have things to talk about in the interview. And as a fresher or almost as a fresher, and as a commerce grad, I did not know like what things will be asked from me in the interview. And definitely, their profiles and their scores were a bit I used to definitely feel while interacting with people at the interview place that they have done something very big in life before coming here and I have done nothing much. But then soon I realized that everyone is on the same ship, and instead of comparing myself I should focus on my own journey rather than comparing myself, and that will help me succeed in whatever I am aiming for.
Okay. So if you have to break down this success, any three reasons.
Firstly, I would say is the mentorship. Definitely the mentorship of Time Ahmedabad and especially Satish sir. They provided me with the right resources, the right feedback, and the right mentorship to succeed in either also the CAT and also the GDPIs. So that was the first thing. My self belief. There might be days when one does not
So, Param, any other suggestions you want to give students in general if they want to pursue an MBA, like when they are giving CAT, any specific preps, structural preparation, or something you want to share?
I would say that the biggest thing while preparing that's possible. So, like, just have self belief and patience and the right mentorship, and you'll be good to go.
And I think the hustle you have gone through because you were working and then you had to prepare for GDPI Mocks.
Yeah.
That would be an inspiration for
Definitely.
lakhs of aspirants,
Yes.
right? Anyways, Param, that was very honest and deep reviews your experience, and I think that would help many students out there, right? So everyone who's listening, if you're stuck in a bad situation, don't give up. Param had his story. You can create your story.